Out on a rock in Sedona during a pandemic. Hey, don't mind us if we're being silly. We're taking it very seriously. And we're really grateful to be here together. And we're just going to do some simple things for about 15 minutes to help emotionally process, ground, and stabilize. We're going to do this through breath and posture and sensory immersion. So here we are. Immerse yourself in the sounds that you hear coming from my voice and behind my voice. And bring breath in and down. And we'll start to bellow the breath in a really slow, steady way. Big inhales, big exhales. So at first, coming down into sensation might not seem like the best idea, especially if you feel afraid or anxious. But just by moving the breath this way, you're beginning to move those energies through you instead of attaching to them as they arise when your breath comes in and down. And press them out on the exhale, squeezing your exhale out so that you push towards your center and gently squeeze the muscles at the end. Good. And this is available to you anytime, anywhere, and it's highly recommended. It's alkalizing for your system, calming for your nerves. It can help to bring a hand to the low belly and the solar plexus like Essie has here. And to have your feet flat on the ground, and possibly, if it's more comfortable, feet wide, knees in towards each other. Good. Keep bellowing this breath, and we'll go into a little bit more details about posture. Just every time you notice that you forget to keep breathing, sort of in this little bit vigorous way, bring your attention back to that. Really make an effort for the big breath to happen from the diaphragm. So like it's moving from right there first. If the rest of your body starts to move, just try to soften on the exhale and let your body relax as well. So feet on the ground, attention in and down with your breath, connecting to your sense of hearing. Again, this is a meditation that you can do anytime, anywhere. You know, we often see people in a cross-legged position for their meditation, but having your spine on the earth is really grounding. So lying down flat is recommended when you're feeling anxious or nervous or fearful. So depending on how long it feels before you can kind of settle, keep doing this. But next time you bring your inhale in, you can also add a pause after inhale. So a big inhale in, pause after inhale, soften the chest internally, soften the belly internally, and then soften the exhale. So this is a way of beginning to soften some of the cramping, the tension, the tightness that happens in the belly and the chest from the nerves. So as you hold the inhale, don't do it to the point of strain or discomfort. Just hold it long enough to where it really feels like when you exhale, you can let go. So the skill of letting go is something that happens along with the breath on the exhale. So by holding the inhale a little bit, you're sort of prompting that passivity to the exhale. Good. So breath comes in and down, and you can begin to try to make an effort to feel the breath go low to high on the inhale. You can keep a gentle pause before you exhale. And see if you can soften the physical tissues of the chest and the belly as you do. Staying grounded in your sense of sound. And as you first lie down to do this, you may lose your focus unlimited number of times. The practice is to just keep your attention coming back again and again. In and down, to the sensations of the belly, the feelings in the chest, the thought, quality of thought, repetitiveness of thought is all a part of your awareness. And then on the exhale, you soften around it all, allowing whatever presents to be. This is what makes these simple breathing exercises a tool for emotional processing, for recognizing what you're experiencing and feeling and allowing it, softening your body so that a new route can be taken. Because if the physical body is tightened and held, then you're going to do that thing you always do. Good. So just this alone and not moving into the posture practice is really helpful and available to you anytime. If you need hours, go ahead and take hours and lie down, attending your breath. Activity to the inhale, a smooth transition, passivity on the exhale, a brief passive pause after exhale to reconcile, and then another round of breath in and down, low to high. And then for the next few breaths, think about these subtle actions that we'll take. Keep the breath smooth and flowing in this way, and I'll just give a bit more detail. If you can, bring your feet flat to the floor with your feet right underneath your knees. If you're not on a rock, it'll be a lot easier. But even bring your feet to touch, your knees to touch. So inner leg line, really close. Yeah, good. Good, so find a comfy spot. And then we'll attend the pelvis balance by doing an action I call lifting the front hip bones or bringing a neutral curve to the lumbar. Good, and then at the low ribs, a movement of the low ribs towards the back body. So the rib cage stacks right on top of the pelvis. And the shoulders are broad and the head is ramped. So notice how Essie has her head touching at a really low point here. So that's so that your cervical spine is an extension of the rest of your spine. So now you're gently holding this position activated through the front body. See if you can direct your breath towards the back body and still let it be fairly passive, just grounded feet, organized spine, breath in and down. And then with this gentle containment at the front body, the breath can move up the back body. You can feel breath moving into the side ribs, maybe touching the inside edge of your arms and moving a bit more wide and then up. And then at the peak of the inhale, the upper back and shoulders are even moving a little bit with breath. So just that, allow yourself to hold this containment with your feet grounded and your spine organized and your breath flowing in and down, belly to upper back and shoulders. And anytime your body wants to shift or move, just do your best to stay stable. You can also add some containment for the senses by bringing the tongue flat and broad on the roof of the mouth. And the teeth will be slightly parted as if to accept a straw, the lips touch, and then a gentle, consistent vacuum between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. This opens up the breathing passageways. And then whether your eyes are open or closed, fix them on a single point, whether that's behind your eyelids, closed, or open behind your shades, and holding a single point of focus. So this containment of the senses helps you to direct your senses from the outer world to the inner world. And so you can see through feeling how the breath is moving through your body. And just keep a steady, smooth pace. Maybe as you relax a little bit and your nerves calm down, you can feel and count a 4 or 5 second inhale and a 5 or 6 second exhale. If it's longer than that, great. Just be sure that you're not creating any strain or stress at the peak of the inhale. Let it be a smooth transition. So like a floating transition from inhale to exhale. So just you and your feet on the ground and your spine organized and your breath and your senses. Possibly focusing on the sound of water. If you can, at your house, it can be helpful to have some sweet smells as you bring your inhale in and down, smelling the inhale and smelling the exhale. Good. We'll add a little bit more containment. So with the feet, we'll add an effort to ground the inside edge of the ball of the foot. So really push that down and then ground to the outside edge of the ball of the foot and let that action wrap around the outside edge of the ball of the foot to the heel so that the four corners of your feet are actively grounding down. Not to the point where it causes strain, but in an effort that is effortless. So you're taking the action, but not over-efforting. So that's happening through all four corners of both feet and all four corners of both hands. So this is gently activating and stabilizing the pelvic girdle and the shoulder girdle. And breath still flows in and down, low belly, side ribs, upper back and shoulders, mouth contained, eyes contained. Good, and now we'll add some simple, gentle movements. So on your inhale, press through the four corners of your feet, keeping your knees together, and lift your hips. And on the exhale, lower your hips in unison with your breath. So keeping the core actions in place so that the rib cage and the hip bones stay closed towards each other. Good, and then as much control as possible on the way up and on the way down. So it's simple, but it's not easy to keep the knees together and the feet grounded and the glutes activating this lift and then coming to an effortless effort at the peak of the inhale, transitioning and coming down on the exhale. Good, and just keep moving in this way with your breath. And the more you do this, the more and more stable and steady it will get and the easier it will get to keep your knees together. And then as you're doing this, watch how your foot wants to press to only the outside edge or only the inside edge. And try to keep it equal through all four corners. Good, so we're grounded like earth and we're flowing like water. And we're contained through the abdomen and the low ribs like fire. And then we're moving air in and down from low in the belly to high in the upper back. Good. Okay, and we'll add the arms in on the next repetition. So the grounded palms that are lengthened in two directions move up with the legs on an inhale. And on an exhale, hands come down and hips land at the exact same moment in that passive pause between inhale and exhale. See if you can relax completely between repetitions and then take another round of movement with another round of breath. Good. So this added part of simple movements connected to breath is key for the mindfulness that yoga offers us. This movement that's deeply connected to breath can't be done while worrying. All of your attention has to be here in the action that your body's taking. And if the feet splay apart, the knees begin to splay apart, just bring them back. Good. Next time that you inhale and reach your arms up overhead, keep the arms up overhead and keep reaching up overhead. As you exhale, let the hips come down and really lengthen the pelvis down as you set it down and reach the arms up overhead. Good. And then take a few breaths there, reaching up overhead on the inhale and softening on the exhale. So getting some lengthening into the side bodies, keeping the spine organized and the feet grounded. Palms broadened, staying connected to sound, that action at the mouth, the containment at the eyes. This is an effort of one-pointed focus, so putting all of your attention on the actions that you're doing right now. And this is training for the ability to do that. Good. How much breath can come into the side ribs and side body as you inhale? If your legs get tired, you can relax them out to the side. So that is a lot of work for the inner leg line. The inner leg line and the inner line of the foot is directly correlated to the pelvic floor. And the pelvic floor is directly correlated to a sense of inner stability. So by containing and grounding the feet and moving in this way, you're reconnecting to that deepest part of your roots, the stablest part of you, and creating a sense of internal safety. And we'll take a few more big breaths here. And then in this position, or with the legs extended out long, so feet together, knees out to the side, arms overhead, or more of a Shavasana position, we'll move into a pranayama called Brahmari. So on the inhale, you'll fill from low to high, and on the exhale, you'll make a soft hum. And you'll just extend that humming noise out as long as you can, without causing strain or over-efforting. And then inhale, fill, low to high. Exhale, gentle hum. If you need to take a resting round or two in between repetitions, do so, but also considering just shorten the amount of time for your exhale so that you're creating a sustainable rhythm. A few more times. Good, last time. Good, and take a natural rhythm of breath, maybe 4 or 5 seconds to inhale, 5 or 6 seconds to exhale. And just notice any shifts since the beginning of this simple practice in your sensations of your belly, the feelings of your chest, the quality of thoughts in the head, and on the exhale. It's all welcome, all allowed, all acknowledged, so that it can flow through. Active inhale, passive exhale, reconciling passive pause. Good. And on your next exhale, bring your hands one to the low belly and one to the chest or the solar plexus, just in some way to connect with your physical body and breath. And so learning to self-regulate is about understanding these different aspects of breath, the activity to the inhale. So if you feel like you need more energy, more activation, add emphasis to the inhale and the pause after inhale. And the passive quality to the exhale, if you need to calm, relax, be more present. Allow your exhale to be really passive. That's not always easy, but that's what this little sequence is for. So these simple practices allow us to move from states of activation, sympathetic function, to having, again, access to our whole brain and choice. And that comes from the physical skill of letting go and softening the body, which comes on the passive exhale. And so we've been breathing in a pattern of low to high, so belly to chest. And this is, again, good for calming and passivity. But before we come up into seated, we'll change that pattern of breath to high to low. So breath comes in and touches in the upper back and shoulders and then moves down into the belly once it's overflowing the rib cage, and then still passivity to the exhale. So this is an energizing and enlivening breath, thinking of strength coming in from above and receptivity from below, and then a passive reconciling pause. Good, and the more you can keep those subtle core actions in place, the more this will move breath in the back body, sort of the unseen part of ourselves being touched by breath and attention. Good. Okay. Continue breathing in this way or come up to seated. And that concludes the practice of emotional processing and stability. Thank you, Essie.